Hello everyone, my name is The Fox. This is going to be my review on the Gamesir Marsback, which will transform your mobile phone into a retro arcade, a tiny little retro arcade, which is kind of the flavor of the month. I've been reviewing a lot of these lately. Most probably is because of Neo Geo's little mini arcade that came out, and then everyone basically rushed to the market with something to have. Now, Gamesir is a company that has created a lot of external controllers for Android phones, and they do make some good products. So a lot of people do know this brand name, and they've produced some good stuff. This is the manual that you get, and it is laminated, a lot better than a lot of paper type of stuff. And the device is really pretty simple. It says it has iOS support. I have gone ahead and tried to use it on an iPhone. The problem being is that you're really going to want to have it jailbroken, your iPhone jailbroken. The reason for that is that you can actually download the Happy Chick emulator on a non-jailbroken iPhone, except the problem with that is that they have to constantly kind of create new enterprise apps, and a lot of times Apple will not approve it. So then you have to go and try to find new Happy Chick emulators, which is just kind of silly. So I don't have a jailbroken iPhone, so there's not really a way that I can test, as the two links that install Happy Chick onto an iPhone, they don't work. Apple hasn't approved it, so it's gone away. It does come with two batteries right here, and they have little tabs, so you have to pull those out before it'll start working. And then you can go ahead and flip this to the on switch, hold the start button down until it becomes Bluetooth aware, and it'll start searching for a device. That's when you can pair it, and then very quickly it just becomes a regular Bluetooth controller. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you what that's like when you pair it with my phone. I do use Android phones, and Android is super simple. You don't need to root or do anything. You can just connect to it and download an emulator and start using it. And I'll show you what that looks like. And there we are. So that my phone is now in there. I'll go ahead and turn this over. We'll flip this to on. That converts itself. We'll go ahead and hold start just to turn it on. Okay. This to start. Okay, it's connected. I've already gone ahead to be at Pac-Man because that is actually an excellent game to kind of look at. All right, and then for OK with all MAME emulations, you're going to press left, right. That will be O and K, just in case no one is aware of that. Let me line this up in the center of the screen. Now, what's nice about this well, there. Alright, so let's just click exit here. So it does work really well, and obviously if you have a modern phone, this will crank out. So I'm using this is MAME Droid. This is the older version that uses .375B. It's a pretty standard set, and for anyone that has handled retro emulation before is more than aware of it, because there's a certain MAME set out there that tends to work a lot better on older devices, so that you can have just general support. I'm going to go ahead and go to Black Tiger, which is one of my more favorite older arcade games to play on this, and if anyone has been with my channel for the longest of times, they'll know that I've constantly played this game whenever I've done MAME emulation of any kind. So one of the other things that you can do is you can kind of just pull this little tab out, and the idea being that you can rotate it sideways. if you wanted to. Apologies, I should have actually recentered the screen. But to put it sideways, it's not really the best, and you will only really be using phones for this. If you try to use a larger device, it will flop over. This little tab is not the best. My favorite style for playing games is obviously in this portrait style that we have here. We'll go ahead and launch Captain Commando as one of our... Ooh, let's do original. Commando. But obviously, most modern phones can play this just fine. What else is nice about this is the cavity for this device. Obviously, you can see in my Pixel 3, I do have a case still on this, as well as the glass screen on here. So, a lot of times there are problems with... A lot of times with certain types of game controllers is that you will have to kind of take out the controller or find a case that is thin enough for... to be able to use one of these devices. So the screen is kind of small in this particular aspect ratio, so let's go ahead and this time let me rearrange. Okay, 1 second. Alright, that's better. Well, I have to really go into the settings to disable that virtual controller, which you can totally do. I mean, these virtual controls don't have to exist here. Anyway, more or less, this is the Gamesir Marsback. It works as advertised. It's very simple to set up. It takes exactly 10 seconds to get it connected to your device via Bluetooth, and then after that, you're just going to be going into whatever emulator that you're going to be doing and then assigning the keys. For the most part, all the D-pad already works because this will advertise itself as D-pad up, left, right, down, which a lot of emulators will kind of default to when it detects the controller itself. So really you're just going to be doing the buttons and maybe start and select. And there are only 4 face buttons in start and select. There are no additional buttons. There's no trigger buttons, so you are limited to 4 buttons, which kind of limits the amount of arcade games that you're going to be playing, or other types of emulators if you wanted to use this device. So really this is just taking a look at... This device is aimed at people that want a retro arcade thing, but don't want to have the device itself. Obviously, there are some retro arcade pieces out there, like the RS-07, that aren't really the best, right? They only play a certain amount of stuff. They don't play things that great, but they are self-contained. The problem with the RS-07 is that it's $70, and that this is $30. So to get something that has a nice screen and plays well is going to require a phone. So it's up to you. My personal preference is to play games in this portrait style, which it's not. Let me go ahead and like this. The problem was that I had put the phone in the wrong way. This is actually my preferred way of doing it, and in this particular fashion, it's really not too bad. The price isn't too crazy, and it's really only for people that are looking to have a little mini arcade experience. Outside of that, you're probably better off just getting a regular controller. It does work. It's super easy. It's quite limited. It runs on batteries, which I actually consider a plus. I don't really care for always having rechargeable batteries on these things, especially because trying to find The batteries to replace them can sometimes be difficult, although some devices that come from China, they tend to use either GBA batteries or Nokia style batteries, which obviously there's plentiful supply of them and they're easy to replace. But overall, it's just, I find AA batteries, because I have rechargeables, quite easy, and it's far easier just to go on Amazon to buy nice rechargeable batteries, AA's that is. But yeah, this is, I mean, I tend to prefer to play portrait-style older games, like, you know, Galaga, Centipede, Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, those types of games, on this type of these types of, like, mini devices. Because when you're playing, like, games like this, a bigger screen with more detail is really going to benefit that. But the older style games, there is a bit of nostalgia to them, so, I don't know, $34 for that. The nice thing is that it does work with a case, and it can occupy a lot of different style phones. So for them, I do give them credit there. But how much value to be extracted out of it, that's for you to decide. In any event, the description for this will be in the description field to send you over to Indiegogo. It is $34. So that's it. Time over. As always, thank you for your time, and thanks for watching.